Os Vigadana Rospavid Pro Heluan. Jack-o'-lantern. The silent lanterns of Oakhaven ghost. The air in Oakhaven on October 31st always had a peculiar, crisp chill, as if the breath of the preceding year was finally sighing out. This year, however, the chill was accompanied by an unnatural silence. For generations, the people of Oakhaven were famous for their extravagant Halloween celebration. Their carved pumpkins, lit by real, flickering candles, were legendary. They didn't just line porches. They were perched on every fence post, hung from every oak tree, and floated on the dark surface of the town's central pond. The sheer volume of glowing, grinning faces turned Oakhaven into a sprawling, shimmering constellation of fire and shadow. But last year, something changed. It began with Elias Thorne, the oldest resident and the most dedicated carver. On Halloween night, as the children began their rounds, they noticed Elias's house was dark. No laughing skeleton on his porch, no vibrant orange glow. When his neighbors checked on him, they found him sitting quietly in his armchair, perfectly healthy, but his hands were strangely still. He had simply lost the desire to carve. One by one, over the following months, the rest of the town felt it, a subtle, creeping apathy towards the holiday's essence. The intricate patterns were replaced by simple triangles, the real candles by dull, battery-operated lights. This year, the entire town was blanketed by a depressing, electrical uniformity. The collective spirit, the fiery heart of Oakhaven's Halloween, had gone out. Young Maya, a girl with a penchant for history and a rebellious streak, felt the loss most keenly. She remembered the warmth of the real candles, the smell of burnt pumpkin flesh, and the way the flickering light made the shadows dance like mischievous spirits. "It's not right," she told her grandfather, who was mechanically taping a plastic bat to a window. "The lanterns need to be silent because they have no soul. We gave up the fire." Her grandfather sighed. "It's easier, Maya, safer, and honestly, I just don't have the energy for the mess anymore." That afternoon, Maya found a forgotten, ancient pumpkin in the back of the barn. A colossal, lumpy squash from last year's harvest, tough as stone. Taking her grandfather's old, rusty carving tools, she worked tirelessly, ignoring the blisters on her hands. She carved not a monster, but the most complicated, spiraling design she could imagine, a face of pure, chaotic joy. As twilight bled into night, she carried her magnificent creation to the center of Oakhaven, to the edge of the dark, silent pond. Instead of a battery light, she used the last match in her grandfather's box to light a stub of a beeswax candle. The effect was instantaneous and profound. The flame was small, but the light it cast was alive. It didn't just illuminate the pumpkin, it made the air around it vibrate. The shadows leapt back, momentarily stunned. The intricate swirls on the pumpkin's face seemed to twist and grin with a fiery delight. A small crowd of trick-or-treaters and parents, drawn by the single point of genuine light in the darkness, gathered. They stood silently, staring at the lone, real flame. Then, an old woman named Mrs. Peterson gasped. "Elias's pattern," she whispered. "It's the pattern he used to carve when he was a boy." A moment later, a door across the street opened. It was Elias Thorne. He stepped out, his eyes wide, drawn to the vibrant glow. He wasn't holding a carving knife, but a single, half-finished pumpkin from his shed. He walked over to Maya's lantern. He didn't speak. He simply reached out and touched the warm, scorched edge of the pumpkin shell. Then, he turned and went back inside. 10 minutes later, Elias's porch light flickered on. When he emerged, he carried a finished, grinning pumpkin, and inside it, a lit candle. He placed it next to Maya's, and the two flames danced together, stronger now. A spark, both literal and figurative, had jumped. It wasn't a rush. It was a slow, deliberate decision. One by one, families returned home. They rummaged through attics, found old tools, and pulled out forgotten gourds. The electric lights stayed on, but slowly, tentatively, little points of real, flickering warmth began to appear. By midnight, Oakhaven hadn't returned to its former glory. But the town was no longer silent. Pockets of genuine light dotted the darkness, each one a defiant, smoky breath against the prevailing apathy. Maya's lantern, still burning brightly by the pond, was the nucleus of the nascent revival. The magic of Oakhaven's Halloween hadn't been in the number of pumpkins, but in the intention behind the fire. And all it took was one child, one match, and one defiant spark to remind a town what it truly meant to be lit for the night of the spirits. The silent lanterns had found their voice.